Let's do this. The Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful and for the faithful. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal, and I'm here today with Kurt Leavins. Welcome, Kurt.
Good Saturday evening, Dave. How are you?
I'm 52 hours into a 72-hour fast, Kurt.
Oof,
So I'm hungry.
I hate those.
I do them about once or twice. I just started about a year ago. I do them like my plan is once or twice a year. But anyway, here it goes. Uh, yeah, I'm a little hungry, Kurt.
I won't eat a burger in front of you.
I had to put away all the groceries. It's one of my jobs.
Oh, that's
That was
tough.
that
Did your
was
wife not give you a break just this once?
you know what? I'm not asking for one. This is my own choice. So
Okay,
gotta
fair
toughen
enough.
up and live my life. Do my tasks. Be useful. Uh, okay, Kurt. The Oilers 4-3 lost in a stinky shootout. What an awful way to.
What a rotten way to end hockey games. Like, as great as the 3-on-3 is, it's one of the best things the NHL's done. Full credit to the league. The shootout has to be the shittiest way to end a hockey game anywhere at any level of competition. I just
And it's
hate it.
worth that is worth a swear word because it is worth many swear words this year. I'm just done with it.
Yeah.
As a kid, I liked it in the WHA, but now it just seems like what a terrible way to end
It's,
a hockey
it's
game.
just a
Like
it's just a gimmick in a team game, right?
leave
That's
that to the cynical Europeans for their soccer, to end a game that way. It's even worse in European football when they end it like that because it's just so unfair. Like it's just ghastly.
yeah.
At least in hockey, they're allowed to come in and try to score. It's a little bit more interesting than the
Mm.
shootout in soccer. But I agree, Kurt. I'm done with it. I don't like
Yep.
it. I think it stinks.
And hey, I'd say the same thing if the Oilers won on a shootout tonight. It's still a rotten way to end a hockey game.
I would love the shootout if the Oilers won it. I would can be completely different opinion on the matter if the Oilers won.
Not me. I'll stick to my guns.
Yeah, I, I wouldn't be as angry about the shootout, but I still don't like it. I'm done with it because I was thinking it's going to head to a shootout, and I just thought, what a wretched way to
Well,
to to end this game, which was a really tight. It was a defensive struggle. The
yeah.
game, especially from the Kings, man. They played hard in that game, but
And a hard slog in game two because the refereeing was crap. So there was all kinds of grabbing and holding and hooking on both sides. I do think there was a referee's call that decided this game, but it
we'll
wasn't
get into
the
that.
but it wasn't the 25 other ones that they let go between the two teams over the 60 minutes. It was just gross. You
Two
can
good
tell I'm
things.
in a bit of a bad mood.
Well, I'm kind of grumpy myself. I could
Oh,
use a hamburger.
well, this should
Two
be
good
fun.
things, two bad things, and two numbers, Kurt. What's your good thing?
Well, I guess I can smile about this. Leon Draisaitl, the man honored before the game for his 1,000th career point. It was great to see his mom and dad there and his wife and his puppy dog too. Great ovation from the crowd, great video, blah, blah, blah. It's just fabulous. Silver stick, all that kind of good stuff.
What was it? Was it
Um,
a gold stick? I
It was
think
a
it.
silver stick.
Okay.
And the detail, because all the sticks are always written on the blade, like what the accomplishment is. And I
Yeah.
didn't see it, but apparently the exact same thing in German was written on the other side
They
of the
showed it
stick.
on the broad hockey
Oh,
night
did they? So that's
broadcast.
really cool. I really like that.
Those
But
sticks are
hey,
so cool. Eh? They are so
they are.
beautiful. They
They
like in
are.
terms of like a hockey trophy after your career, like a lot of things are maybe so, but to have one of
Yep.
those silver sticks, what an
Hang it
achievement.
above your mantle, right? I'm with you. It's a great thing. But you know what? He lived up to all the hype with mom and dad in the stands. He just bossed this game. He was the best player on the ice by both sides. Had two goals, was dominant in the face-off circle, six shots on net, played 27 and a half minutes. Um, just a terrific back check. On one play in the second period, which I noted shortly after the 3-2 goal, where had he not made that back check, it could have been 4-2 LA. Just a tremendous game by Edmonton's first or second player, best player, depending on which night you catch him. But he was certainly on tonight in front of friendly fans and family. It was on a what ended up a frustrating night sure was a great night for number 29 and showed why he's one of the greatest Oilers ever and headed to the Hall of Fame.
I loved the first goal, Kurt.
Mm.
When that Draisaitl line goes full big bad Bruins on a goal, and I'm referencing the 1970s Bruins that they were a very rugged team, and they had
Yes.
a top line with Wayne Cashman and Ken Hodge and Phil Esposito, and those guys would go to the work in the corner and set up Espo in the slot, and that was an Esposito goal, as much
Yeah,
as it
it
was a
was.
Draisaitl kind of goal.
Yep.
Great hustle by Podkolzin getting in there, and a really nice pass from Kapanen, and a great goal. But if anything, the second goal was sweeter. Like both Podkolzin and Kapanen blocked their men on the face-off to allow it to happen. Draisaitl wins it, puts it back to Bouchard, who makes just a fantastic pass. Bouchard had some struggles on defense, but he passed the puck like beautifully, gorgeously tonight. He was amazing with the
Agreed.
puck. And that pass, and then the shot from Draisaitl, like no one else makes that shot, or hardly anyone else.
Yeah.
Like he just
You
makes
expect it to go in at this point, don't you?
it's great.
Yeah.
What a great player. What a
Yeah.
great player. And I really love the fact that I think is his dog's name Bowie. I wonder if it's after David Bowie.
It's
David
Bowie, I think. Yeah, I don't know who
David
it's
Bowie,
after, but
who recorded his great album in Berlin. I think, and the song "Heroes" is about the fall of the Berlin Wall. If I'm not, no, it can't be because it didn't fall yet. But it's the song "Heroes" is his great song, and it's about the Berlin Wall. So I was almost tempted to give an extra game grade for that, Kurt, just for naming his dog after David Bowie.
well, hang on here. It's the 10th of January. Let me check. You just keep going for a second and let me check. Yes, that would be it would be ironic because it was on this date in 2016 that David Bowie died.
Wow, you have a good memory. That's like a Bruce McCurdy kind of memory
There you
recall.
are. Yep.
That's high praise.
Yeah.
The only thing I wished is like that line was so good off the top, and they didn't seem to be able to keep. It was a fractured game, I guess, and like it was a weird game, and then the coach started mixing up the lines a little bit.
Yeah.
But I would have liked to see them roll that line. Listen, there's a chance that line could become highly productive as Kapanen and Podkolzin get more comfortable offensively, and they start to figure it out because they actually haven't played together a ton. They were put together in the playoffs.
Yeah,
and
but they
haven't
couldn't
been
because
together.
Kapanen's been hurt so much, right?
That's
So
it. And
yeah.
they haven't been together that much in the regular season because of what you just said about Kapanen.
Yeah.
So if they, there's a chance that there could be some kind of incredible chemistry on that line because they've got the big slot shooter and they've got two guys who can dig that puck out. And Kapanen, both of them have some speed. Both of them are big, rugged guys. All three of them are.
Quite
That
willing
could
to
be
forecheck.
That line could be a handful if they
Yeah.
get going. And we saw it, I think, on those first two goals. And it was kind of I hope it's a signal. Like, I hope we can see more of that.
It's funny you mentioned that. I was kind of thinking that tonight. Look, I don't really fault Chris for going to Draisaitl and McDavid. What coach wouldn't? I mean, who's kidding who, right? But I do kind of wonder, now that these two lines are going, I almost wouldn't. I'd almost leave them. And that third line is just an opportunity to maybe put McDavid or Draisaitl out there again and double shift them, as opposed to just switching the lines up and putting them together. In other words, I'm agreeing. Let that line go for a little bit. Like I'm kind of with you. It's with the effectiveness of the forecheck of Podkolzin and Kapanen. It's like that's a damn dangerous line, and because all three are so big and strong, they're a tough line to handle as well, right?
Yeah,
So
wear down the other guys, eh?
yeah. No, it's a good observation, Dave. I'm with
The
you.
first time I saw McDavid and Draisaitl on the ice, I was kind of like, what? Like, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
and like the coach has his reasons for all these things, but I will note this, Kirk, because I did a post on the Oilers' kind of winning streak and how they're coming out of their tough time here this season. Not winning streak, but improved play. Because in the last 20 games, their shot differential, their goal differential, their grade A shot differential, their 5-alarm shot differential has been outstanding. On the attack, they're just out of this world good right now. So they're as good in the last 20 games as they have played under Knobloch Like when he took over from Woodcroft and the team played so well under him for 69 games. In the last 20 games, the Oilers have been that good again, at least on the attack. They're still a
Yes.
little bit have some defensive issues,
Yeah,
but
we'll talk about that in a minute.
yeah. Last year they got out of their doldrum, which lasted about 15 games at the start of the year by tightening it up on defense. So this time it's been change out like in when Knobloch took over from Woodcroft, they changed out the goalie. In that case, it was Jack Campbell. In this case, it's Stuart Skinner. Brought in another goalie, and that worked. But what also worked, Kurt, to get back to the point of all this, is that they both times in 23, 24, they stopped playing McDavid and Draisaitl as much. And that's what Knobloch has done in the last 19 games, 20 games. He's played the McDavid line with RNH and Hyman, and Draisaitl's been on his own line, and that has worked for the Oilers. So I think roll the lines, man. Roll these lines. You've got 3 lines now. The third line's a little iffy maybe on defense, but you've got 3 attacking lines, and you've got a 4th line that might actually look like it could rumble a little bit too. So roll. I don't know why you don't just focus on that. Maybe that would be my suggestion. At least I'm not dead set against what he's doing, putting McDavid and Draisaitl together, but I wonder about it.
Yeah, that just pops into mind. Not a big point, but I found it fascinating that Jack Roslovic didn't take a shift in overtime.
Oh, that's interesting. Because
he's got 2 overtime goals this year.
Yeah. Yeah, McDavid.
No, the big guys play great in overtime. I don't fault them, but it's kind of funny that he didn't find a shift for Roslovic, given that he's had such good success on 3-on-3.
Yeah. My good thing is the overtime. The Oilers had 5 grade A shots to none for the other team, and unless I missed one. But
You didn't.
the Oilers dominated that, and McDavid himself had 4 grade A shots in overtime. He had 6 in the game. And Kurt, I don't really know what to make of goalie interference calls anymore. So I don't usually have a strong opinion anymore, because it just seems like the goal that McDavid scored there would have been a goal 5 years ago or maybe 3 years ago. And
I
now
thought
they're
it should
getting
have been.
super freaking finicky.
I thought it should have been
about
a
it.
goal tonight. I mean,
How did you see it?
well, here's how I saw it. Yes, there was some contact between McDavid and the goaltender, but the puck was past the goaltender by the time there was contact. So in other words, McDavid did not stop the goaltender from stopping that puck. I'll take that to my grave. I don't believe that for a second. Add to that, Doughty cross-checked him from behind. Yes, it was McDavid's momentum that was taking him to the goaltender. I agree that. Doughty helped him in there, but still, the puck was over the line before the goaltender had a chance to stop it, and the net was still on its moorings. That call to me, David, just smells like the NHL not wanting to overrule its referee.
Kurt, I just have these goals burnt into my memory. The Kessler goal where they countered it because apparently Darnell Nurse pushed Kessler into the goalie, and then Kessler spread the goalie's legs out with his arms there. And the Grundstrom goal, LA Kings scored it about 3 or 4 years ago in the playoffs against the Oilers. He just rammed into the Oilers goalie and it went in, and they countered it. Yeah. McDavid's contact with the goalie wasn't nearly as severe as Grundstrom's. So what I notice is they are tightening up on this, and they're calling more goalie interference, and they're way more picky about any kind of contact with the goalie, and less likely to give the offensive player the benefit of the doubt, like McDavid probably deserved tonight.
So I agree with you, but how dumb is that? What percentage of the fans do you think go to a game, David, hoping to see a big save?
Well, all the goalies.
Right?
1 out of 6.
So maybe 1 out of 6.
It's like 1 out of 10. I guess the goalies are actually 1 out of 10 of us.
In other words, people are paying good money to see goals. So what is the NHL? It takes them off the board. No matter which team it happens to, it's just so short-sighted, and don't get me started.
I've just all these the calls at the blue line, the goals called back. I've backed away from thinking about it. I just
Mm.
whatever happens happens now
Well,
because it just
I saw
seems I
three
don't
or
like the
four
beeline calls.
reputable experts on Twitter tonight say that's a goal, and it wasn't.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay, that's
so it was.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and clearly
And
the whole arena. Although what's the home arena going to say?
I
But clearly, when
yeah,
the fans saw the replay, right?
I don't know anymore, and I don't even like. And again, I've stopped forming an opinion because I don't know.
You
Like
know, your point is excellent. It seems so different from call to call now. There is terrible consistency on that call. Right?
so did the Oilers didn't challenge that one? Could they have
No,
challenged it?
no, but I wouldn't have challenged it either
Well,
because,
you're in.
in fairness, it was close in a tie game like
Yeah, you
that.
can't
Why
challenge
would you
it.
put LA on the power play,
You'd
right?
have to be
So
sure, right? If
you'd
you're
have
going
to
to
be
challenge.
100% sure. And if you and I aren't sure looking at it, Chris probably wasn't either, right? So
Well, as the LA Kings coach knows, you better be sure.
yeah, right.
What
Touche.
did he challenge last year? Was it a goal against the Kings?
It was a series
It
turning
was a series turning.
decision.
That's
Don't
right.
do it. Don't do it, Len. Yeah.
Where's that from, Kurt?
The Flintstones. Len Frankenstone. Don't do it, Len. Don't get me started. I'll be doing Flintstone impressions all night.
Oh, I'll buy that. What's your baby?
Put it in a dirty glass.
Rocks on rocks in a dirty
Yeah,
glass.
yeah.
We
Love the
are Canadians of a certain age, Kurt.
yeah. Every day at lunch, right? Yeah.
Rush home from school. Yeah, rush home from
The
school,
Great
have my
Gazoo.
bologna sandwich,
Yeah,
and watch the Flintstones. It was a life.
it was.
It was happiness itself. Oh, so I think I've like the overtime. The Oilers took over. They all could have won. They almost won. They probably should have won, and they
Yep.
didn't win. And then they lost it in the shootout. Kurt, what is your bad thing?
My bad thing is the way the Oilers defended tonight. I didn't have a whole lot of trouble with their attack. Yeah, you would have liked to seen them muster more shots. Um, but really, you were playing a team tonight that was playing the second of back-to-backs on the road and is 30th in the NHL in goals. But you still gave up 3 in regulation. And specific to tonight, I thought their neutral zone play was really poor. I thought they gave up a lot of real estate really easy all night long. It seemed like LA had odd man rushes 2-1 more frequently than Edmonton did. And I thought that coverage on all 3 goals was poor, although I thought Ingram was primarily to blame on the 1 goal. I thought it was a really bad rebound.
Oh, I agree, Kurt.
Yeah.
That was really bad. I mean, McDavid lost the faceoff and allowed the outside shot.
Yeah.
Maybe Bouchard should have been covering Perry
Yeah.
instead of so there's McDavid actually for sure lost the battle, didn't prevent the outside shot. Those are his jobs.
Yeah.
Bouchard's was like more of a 50-50,
Yep.
but Ingram needed to just glove that. It was just a
Yeah.
goalie mistake.
In fact, I think he thought he had it, but you got to know you have it, right? So anyway, my point being, there's lots of examples of where defending cost the Oilers tonight, but if you can't defend better than that against the 30th team in the NHL in goals for, how are you going to win in the playoffs against the top 16 teams in the NHL? Right? They've got to fix this, Dave. I have no question in my mind that the Edmonton Oilers are going to score enough goals to get back to the Stanley Cup final. At this point in time, I cannot say confidently that they're going to be able to defend well enough to get there.
I think they're a big, tough Bobby Clobber of a defenseman away and a big, tough Bobby Clobber of a third-line center away from being a good defensive team.
Yeah.
If I'm completely... And Ingram was okay. I gave him a 5.
Yeah, I thought the broadcast was... Both radio and TV were giving him more credit than I thought he really deserved. I thought he was just okay.
Yeah, he helped from the posts. So the grade A shots were, I don't know if I said 15-10 for the Oilers with the subset of 5 alarm shots, 4-3 for the Kings. So it was a fairly low event game for Ingram and a save. The last 2 goals against were tough. Like they were both grade A shots. They were both actually 5 alarm shots, tough shots. Well, no, the second one was a 5 alarm shot, and the third one was just a grade A shot. It would have been nice to have a save on one of those.
Mhm.
He didn't come up with a lot of big saves, is the truth. He made
Nope.
some saves, but
I agree.
um,
The Kings are a volume shooting team, right? So I thought his save percentage tonight made his game look better than it was. It was
yeah, there was a
for all
lot of
those, yeah, for all those people who say, "Oh, send Calvin Pickard down to Bakersfield. Ingram's your guy." It's like, are you sure about that? I don't think that's going to happen anyway. But it's tonight was a good
yeah,
example of that, where um, you can argue LA had the better goaltender tonight,
yeah.
and it was their backup.
I mean, in Bakersfield, the complaint about Ingram was there was a bit of chaos in the net, and maybe there was tonight a little bit. I mean, you could certainly on the first goal. My my beef is this. My bad thing's the second goal against,
Mhm.
and it's three essentially first year Oilers. Regula, Stastny, and Ike Howard,
Howard, yes.
and they all make major mistakes. And Stastny had a fairly rough night. He moved the puck better, but he got caught up ice in the third period a couple of times. In this case, there's a line change, and Howard comes on the ice, and like a lot of players, it's almost like when in doubt on a line change, just rush back to your own zone up the center of the ice would be a good plan if you're a forward, because he kind of reads the play and he reads wrong, and it's just a beat and he's out of it. It's a 3-on-2 rush essentially,
Yep.
because he's just taking it just that one moment instead of just hustling back and covering someone. Um,
I thought it was a rookie mistake, right? Which you
yeah,
expect to see from rookies, but this is my concern with this third line. But I'll let you keep going, and then I'll come back and talk about it a little bit.
okay. And then Stastny makes a mistake. He tries to pinch the play off at the blue line, and he allows the pass in. And then Regula makes a mistake. He's unable to take out the cross seam pass, which is his fundamental job.
Yep.
And part of the reason that happens maybe is because Howard tips it just a little bit, and it goes to the Kings shooter, and it beats the goalie. It's a tough play for the goalie. I don't blame the goalie on it. That's a 5 alarm shot. It's just hard. It's a hard play. But all three of those guys had a chance to stop that. Could have easily thwarted that, and because of mistakes by each of them, there's a goal against. And this is the third pairing. Regula's on the third pairing now. Stastny's third pairing. You do not want goals against the third pairing by the fourth line. And I don't know if that was the fourth line or the third line or whatever, but that wasn't great. You
It
got to
was
stop those
yeah,
lumberjacks.
it was the third line, the third forward line for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, uh, you know, I, I hope Regula turns it around and stops making those kinds of plays. Stastny is also struggling, in my view, defensively. So they just, I'm starting to think they're going to need a veteran defenseman to come in to the third pairing and solidify it for the playoffs. They should be able to get that kind of player. That player should be available. And it's not their primary pickup. I think the primary pickup's going to be a forward. But I think they're going to need to make two moves. Unless, Emerson played pretty well tonight. And,
He got
maybe
crushed 5-on-5.
did they? Well, he
Yep.
didn't. Himself didn't make many mistakes on grade H. He had a quiet game, so maybe he'll hang in there. I mean, Nurse had a fairly rough game, so he wasn't that good. I didn't think he got beat by Kuzmenko on that rush where they almost
5-on-5
scored.
scoring chances with Emerson on the ice was 3-9.
Yeah, I didn't see him making mistakes. Emerson, I saw Nurse make how many? 3 of them. So Emerson made 1. So anyway, he wasn't perfect, but yeah, Kurt, I'm starting to wonder. They've got to ramp up their defensive play. Their offense is going. Now get the defense going.
So a few things on your comments. One is, well, they're going to get one of their veteran defensemen back. I hear Tuesday. That'll be when Jake
Yeah.
Ballman comes back. So
Yeah.
that'll help. He's
Hopefully a lot.
he's a better defender than any of those three, and a far superior puck mover than any of them. Right. So that'll make a difference. But I'm with you. I think they probably need a veteran, good-sized veteran defender on their third pairing for the playoffs. I see that the same way you see it, and I think they probably need a third line center as well. The reason I say they need a third line center, I know everybody's giddy over this third line, but I think you saw
No.
the holes in them tonight. Yeah, they can attack all right, but when your defensive conscience is Matt Savoy, a rookie on that line, you're going to have issues like you had tonight. And Savoy's defensive game is good. He is almost always the first guy back. He's very conscientious. But that line, remember I said a podcast or two ago, I said, yeah, they look good, but wait till they play a tougher team. And the LA Kings are a tougher team, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
Rod
all.
Slovic is not a center defensively. He'd be great as a third line winger, I think.
Oh,
And either Howard
yeah.
or Savoy should be at their side. But I think they're going to need because Savoy he's not producing much on the attack. And on defense, he hustles like crazy, but
Yes,
he's
he does.
like Todd Coles, and he's got a little, and McDavid that chase the puckitis.
Yeah, most rookies do though, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to have youngsters in the lineup, that's going to be a part of their game until they work it out.
But
So
he also makes a lot of really good reads on defense. So
he does.
I think when he calms down on defense, he's going to be really good on defense.
Well, I think he's really good now, but I'm with you. You're going to get rookie mistakes out of him because he just doesn't have enough reps, right?
Yeah. So we'll see where he fits in. Personally, I think Howard is a better player. I think Howard
He's a better offensive player.
Really, and he hasn't given up much that on defense. Like tonight, that was one of the first really major ugly mistakes he's made on a goal against all year, Ike Howard. So we'll see. We'll see who wins that battle, or if both figure out a way to stick in the top.
Look, I think both kids belong on the roster. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, if you're going to win a Stanley Cup, I don't think you're winning it with that third line.
I agree, Kurt. Numbers. What is your number, Kurt?
0-7-1. The Edmonton Oilers are 0-7-1 when trying to win their third game in a row this season.
Wow. They got to get that monkey off their back. They've got to start winning 3, 4, 5 games in a row.
The Pacific sucks right now. If they would string some wins together, they can actually put some distance between themselves and the other guys, which would be a really good thing for a change, right? And hey, they got a point tonight. As much as we're kind of down in the mouth, they still got a point in the standings. That beats nothing. But yeah, they need to win 3, 4, 5 in a row here and take control of this division, right?
Yeah, a win would have been nice.
Would.
My number, Kurt, you were talking last podcast about McDavid and about how someone might have whispered in his ears in games that he shoots more, the Oilers are much more likely to win. And that really piqued my interest. So I've just looked at the numbers for this year.
Oh, good.
And I only looked at grade A shots. Mm-hmm. So the ones that we track at the Cult of Hockey. And so I was wondering, what's the Oilers' record in games where McDavid has 3 or more grade A shots? And what's the record in games where where McDavid has 3 or I guess 2 or less grade A shots?
Yeah.
So, and I didn't count shootout games because they essentially end in a tie. There's really no winner. So and there's been 3 of those, including tonight. Tonight, right. McDavid had 6 grade A shots. And so in games where he has 3 or more, Kurt, he's done that of the first 42 games that have ended in regulation or in the 3-on-3. He's had 3 or more 25 times, and they have 17 wins and 8 losses.
Oh, wow.
68% winning percentage when he has 3 or more grade A shots. In the 17 games where he's had 2 or less, they have 5 wins and 12 losses for a 29% winning percentage. So they're better than double their winning percentage in games where he has 3 grade A shots.
Isn't that interesting,
When he is firing that puck, they tend to win the game. And they came very, very close to winning it tonight in overtime with him getting all those grade A shots in overtime. So I don't know what it is just for shots. Like someone else can work that out. But
No, that's very, very illuminating.
yeah, just shoot, shoot, baby, shoot. Kurt, do you have any final takes on the game?
Two, you mentioned the fourth line, so I do want to talk about them a minute because 5-on-5, they were the only line tonight. In fact, they were the only three Oilers that were above 50% CF 5v5. They were the only three, and Lazar was 60% in the faceoff circle. So I think if you get that from your fourth line, night in and night out, you're all right with that. Right. So I thought they were decent tonight. And I also want to draw attention to the block shot by Nugent Hopkins in overtime. Like what a play. What a play, right? The game would have ended right there had he not. And it was the double pad stack too. Probably made the old goalies out there happy. So good on the Nuge, man. He finds a way to touch every hockey game in a meaningful way.
What did you think of Philip Broberg's big contract, 6 years at $8 million a year?
Yeah, I had a couple thoughts. One, look, I'm happy for him. When you see these young players come up and develop, you want them to succeed, right? And so, I was a little sour on him not wanting to be in Edmonton, and was not disappointed at all about the offer sheet. So I could certainly take or leave that. But I don't hold it against a young player for having success in this league and getting rewarded for it. And I hope he goes on to have a good career. Some people were yarning on about how it was an overpay. Gee, I don't see how that's an overpay. The kid's going to the Olympics. He's a first pairing defenseman in St. Louis right now. He's hurt, by the way. He got hurt tonight.
Yeah, I saw that. He got dumped on the ice by Mark Stone.
Yeah, looked like a concussion. At least the possibility of one. But yeah, you know what? I thought probably a good deal done by St. Louis. I'm happy for the player. I'm still ticked off at Ken Holland for ignoring that threat. And as you know, I've written multiple columns on this. I put the blame for the Philip Broberg half of that double offer sheet squarely on the shoulders of Ken Holland, who did some good things for the Edmonton Oilers while he was in Edmonton, for sure, and got them to one Stanley Cup final, but that wasn't one of his finer moments.
The one of the good things he did was to draft Philip Broberg. He got a lot of criticism for that, and Philip Broberg has turned out to be every bit worthy of that pick. And then he followed up the next year by drafting Dylan Holloway, another outstanding draft pick.
Yep.
And to have two, because they're not taken right at the top end of the draft. Broberg was 8th, and Holloway was, I think, 13th or 14th. So players like that don't always turn out. Like it's a coin flip when you're taking about 8th, and then it's less than a coin flip when you're taking where Holloway was. And both those players have turned. If Holloway wasn't hurt, he'd be a top 6 winger for sure. And Broberg's either a first or a second pair defenseman. Mm-hmm. Good for him signing that. I think that you're right. Like Broberg wanted out. I blame Holland for Broberg wanting out of that.
Yes.
I blame Jackson for the salary cap bungling that summer that saw them lose not only Broberg but Holloway.
I think the Holloway one Jackson shares blame for that one, absolutely.
Sure. Yeah, that's a fair way to dice and slice it.
But Broberg wanted out before Jeff Jackson even showed up. So
he did. Yeah. Didn't want to win a Stanley Cup in Edmonton. We'll see if that happens.
Yeah, he ain't going to win one in St. Louis anytime soon.
No. He reminds me of that. Who's that Minnesota defenseman who's a defensive defenseman, a Swedish defenseman? What's his name?
Oh, God. I'm sorry. I know exactly who you mean, and he's been a real good NHLer for years and years and always plays well against the Oilers, but its name isn't popping into my head. So,
yeah. Well, let's not worry about it.
Yeah.
Anything else, Kurt? Any other thoughts?
No, I think those are my extras. Fourth line, you'll take that every night, and way to go, Nuge.
Yeah, just looking over my grade games, I think I've run the gamut of opinion as well. Kurt, let's leave it there. I'm going to go to hit the hay and dream of cheeseburgers.
Star Trek starts in 3 minutes. Your timing's perfect.
Reminds me when I was in university, my friend in fourth year university, I roomed with my good friend Mario Bartel, who lives in Vancouver now
Uh-huh.
and is a journalist there. And every night we would finish our essays, like finish like at 1, 2 a.m., work until then. And we would at about 2 or 3 a.m., what was it? It wasn't the it wasn't the bionic. Was it the Bionic Woman?
It was the
Six
Bionic
Million Little
Man, and
Man.
then eventually
Bionic.
the Bionic Woman. Yeah.
Yeah, so we watched the Bionic Woman reruns every night.
Boy, you were hard up. You,
I can't remember anything about that show. It wasn't even very good, but it was just like a habit. Now, Star
thanks,
Trek's different. Star Trek.
thanks, thanks to you, Lindsay Wagner is still getting royalties checks.
Which Star Trek is it again that you watch? Is it
Oh,
the original?
I watched the original. Yeah, the other ones. Hey, if you're a fan of that, fill your boots. But I'm Kirk and Spock all the way.
Okay, what's the best all-time original episode, Kurt? What's your favorite, I should say?
Trouble with Tribbles.
Oh, mine's that one where they have that. That's very impressive, Kurt. My favorite one is the one where they have that battle with the Romulans in deep space. So they encroach into the neutral zone to battle the Romulans.
They buck into the Romulans a few times.
Yeah,
Those
Kurt,
nasty Romulans.
nasty Romulans. Thanks for talking tonight, Kurt.
It was a pleasure. Thanks.
And thanks to the wisest, sanest, smartest hockey fans in the world, fans of the Edmonton Oilers and listeners of the Cult of Hockey. And in the meantime, and in between time, this has been another edition of the Cult of
Cult of Hockey podcast.
Oh, that's great, Kurt.